Anyways, this is gonna be my rant. We'll get on to it. Since I look like the most devoted Muslim terrorist Mountie, you can't ever take chances on me. And you must always be suspicious of me 100%. Now on to the fuck niggerdom of my life last night. Stayed pretty much all night at the gymnasium, free Wi-Fi place up the biggest mountain hill, and at around 4 or something a.m. I left and walked by a married bitch who looked like she did not take a bath for 1 day and or 2 days, smoking a cigarette, and she was sitting outside her house, and the vibes I got from her is she hated pretty much everything about me with an absolute hatred, 100%. But despite knowing she likely is out to set me up, trap me for being worse than the man and guy with the worst reputation around here, something about this married bitch I found attractive. So I decided, despite my mom telling me to never mind going to the gymnasium public free Wi-Fi place, and despite me having church tomorrow Saturday since I'm a Seventh-day Adventist Christian, I decided to stay up all night again in the gymnasium free public Wi-Fi place again. And if I see this married bitch again doing the same thing, I might ask her in her language she most understands beside Filipino what she's doing 100%. And yes, I know the cursed straight heterosexuality came upon me, and on the way here to the gymnasium free public Wi-Fi, not just the severest unbearable satellite ass whoopings. The rest of the zipper on my literally experienced this waterproof shoulder bag completely broke off, and despite 100% knowing up front that not just could I get myself hurt badly and into some bug-eye fist fighting, etc., due to my worst reputation around here and it all being for nothing, I still decided to go because I'm trash and garbage anyways. I got nothing to lose anyway, so I walked up the biggest gigantic mountain hill here with my flashlight on my phone, and of course when I got here I fucked niggardly procrastinated, which I realize is good. And beside Filipinos around here, especially even in Santa Filomena, Iligan, a mountain near the city of Iligan that had the most unbearable ass satellite ass whoopings than where I'm currently at in what they call Kiwala and Hindong Marine, Iligan waterfalls, where the satellite ass whoopings are more bearable and not as unbearably harsh, except if I had lived up in Hindong, where I'm currently using the free Wi-Fi at this gymnasium. Then yes, not just is it more strict around here, the satellite ass whoopings do get even way worse than in where I originally came from in Santa Filomena League in 100%. But on to the point, the beside Filipinos around here prefer I be an isolated prison cage like animal, you know. Alright, where was I at? I had to type this down in order to remember this fucking niggerdom that I dealt with. You know, I had to fucking, you know, where was I? Basically 100%, basically on to the point, beside Filipinos around here prefer I be an isolated prison cage like animal. That was Santa Filomena League, and mainly especially not go for there, especially females, women, girls, and even males, men and guys and boys. You know, you get the point. And if I had to leave, I go, and if I had to leave, These beside Filipinos would prefer I go abroad, migrate, etc. to some other country rather than I go to migrate to another part of the Philippines. Because me going to another part of the Philippines seems to bother the beside Filipinos around here a lot more than if I went to another country besides the Philippines and etc. about the southern Filipinos. Mainly beside Cebu because I've been to Cebu and the beside of Cebu are cool and I've experienced it. And now back to the topic. This explains why I never did have any hesitations, hardly any at all, to hate beside Filipinos, despite me being mixed beside Filipino with no Tagalog Filipino relatives myself. So that's why I'm a self-hating beside version of Uncle Ruckus from the cartoon Boondocks, and I'm a beside version, Tagalog version of Reverend Father Uncle Ruckus from one of the episode of the cartoon Boondocks with this black brown guy that looked like Obama was demon possessed, and Reverend Father Uncle Ruckus was called to exorcist him, and he sounded just like a beside Filipino man guy. And yes, even the hardcore Muslim Mindanao Filipinos around here hate their fellow Muslims, Obama and Muhammad Ali. And here's why, and here's my Tagalog translation of what Reverend Father Uncle Ruckus said to that demon possessed black guy. In the name of Tagalog Jesus and all great Tagalog men, I command thy beside demon soul back to the gates of hell, and use your powerful hand. Let's whoop this beside demon's ass. And I remember hearing a real life story from Nungwading on how a beside Filipino guy who did not finish school and wanted to go to Manila took a boat to Manila, and he and his best friend who helped him were trapped in slave labor in a compound well guarded, only able to use the money he and his best friend earned to buy taste good food at the compound. And so he and his best friend tried to escape, and his best friend was shot dead, and he miraculously made it out alive. And he tried reporting it to the police, and he worked for some people and lived with a family in Manila until he found a bayou gay homosexual ladyboy makeup artist that literally saved his life and helped him earn enough money to go back home where he originally came from, though he had his ass butthole virginity taken, and they both exchanged dig up each other's buttholes. He eventually went back home and met again his one-eyedest girlfriend, and he decided to stay with her and marry her instead of going back with that ladyboy makeup artist. And he said for some reason he did not tell the lady boy what he did and why he left the lady boy, and he hopes the lady boy makeup artist that saved his life and helped him earn enough money to go home is doing well in life 100%. So despite me knowing the above, call me Stockholm syndrome all you want. I'm still the same. I'm still the same self-hating beside version of Reverend Father Uncle Ruckus from the cartoon Boondocks, and I have good reason to be, since beside Filipinos have the worst crabs in the bucket mentality, and beside Filipinos are the most jealous and envious of all Filipinos, and they can curse you with a particular type of curse that'll make you very sick too. You know, even Seventh-day Adventists beside Filipinos, and you got and Filipinos, you gotta look out for them, watch out for them, and not just beside, especially Southern Filipinos, except Cebu Filipina, are the most heartless and will never give you sympathy sex. That's here in south of the Philippines, except Cebu have the oldest virgin men and guys in their 70s and 80s years old and have not gotten laid since birth, involuntary celibates, even where I live in Iligan. Way worse than the virgin men and guys in their 50s in Japan who have not gotten laid since birth, involuntary celibates. And I have an uncle in Balgoon in the countryside, banana field in Davao, who's currently almost 75 years old and has not gotten laid since birth. My own mom told me I look just like him, and sure enough, she's right. I'm ending up just like him, except I'll expose this truth and gladly bring shame, etc. to my country, for the Philippines has the worst satellite ass whoopings of all other countries. Why do you think why do you think the Philippines is the most corrupt country on earth? Because Filipinos treat each other the worst, 100%. And why do you think Philippines has the most of its own people going abroad than any other country? 100%. And I ain't falling for the same and or similar trap that beside Filipinos around here want me to fall into, where I go to another country rather than go to another part of the Philippines. 100%. And yes, as I was writing this, I realized these southern Filipina, beside especially females, women, girls, whether married and or single and or have a living partner and or fiance and or boyfriend, are just using me for attention, wasting my precious time, etc., just to make them feel better about themselves. Hey, look at this mixed inferior half-breed beside Filipino guy waste his time on me, and etc. You get the point. And yes, only in south of the Philippines have I heard the term inferior half-breed being used. So as you can see, I'm under the worst slavery I gotta break out of 100%, you know. And yes, I know and I'm well aware of the problem with telling sweet lies, etc., to having a harem of Tagalog Filipinas is they will throw rocks at you while the great thing about telling sweet lies, etc., to having a harem of southern, including beside Filipinas, even from Cebu, is they will not throw rocks at you. But here's the thing, I relate more to Tagalog Filipinas than I do southern, including beside, maybe even Cebu Filipinas. So I ain't gonna be no pussy and gladly take rocks being thrown at me, etc., rather than be around any longer the accursed beside Filipinas, especially. And yes, I had better experiences dealing with beside Filipinos than I did beside Filipinas. So when I say beside Filipinos, I'm mainly referring to beside Filipinas. And yes, I admit I prefer to be gay then go for it beside Filipina, regardless of who she is, no matter what, 100%. And the same similar thing to the Tagalog Filipinas throwing rocks at you applies to literally everything about Manila. Manila and the rest of north of the Philippines got the worst school, fist fights, bullying, etc. And Manila has the most people going postal, like Elliot Roger, the postal dude, etc. People for lashing out against society, you know. Where was I, people murdering people, hold-uppers, shootings, gunfightings, etc. Gunfights, governors, mayors, etc. Highest ranking people murdered and killed no matter what. So it's like your rank, your connections, etc., your highest rank, your highest connections, your most amount of connections, etc., don't matter in Manila and will not be able to keep you alive in Manila. And this is way before President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was president of the Philippines, so you can't blame him for why Manila is that way. Why Manila is, despite him being the biggest drug addict on earth than any other country. But then Tagalog, Manila, and the rest of the north of the Philippines want to complain about south of the Philippines having a Sumbagay fist fighting culture. When they themselves have it even worse. In Manila and the north of the Philippines, they murder and kill one another. So, it's better to be fist fighting than shooting each other with guns and shooting those bullet dicks at one another. You know what I'm saying? So I understand why when you get an or renew and or etc. ID, a driver's license, etc. here in south of the Philippines, it's sent to Manila for Manila to verify and approve, etc. And I understand why when you become a barangay captain, mayor, governor, etc. over here in south of the Philippines, you gotta go to Manila for them to approve of you. And why Tagalog, including northern Filipinos, avoid, discriminate against, and very racist, etc. towards beside Filipinos, because south of the Philippines, beside Filipinos especially, are, like I said in the above, have the worst crabs in the bucket mentality, and are the most jealous and envious, etc. of all other Filipinos. And you all seen how President Duterte, who was beside, had the least value on people's lives, had the least value on life during his war on drugs, 100%. and you, Manila, etc., Tagalog, and etc., Northern Filipinos can't ever take chances on me because I'm mixed beside Filipino myself. And yes, I will admit, even back during the Marawi War in 2017, and now I'm still completely cool with Multi Malaysia and any country, and literally any country taking over the Philippines, because who knows, maybe that foreign country will make the Philippines a better place. Who knows, maybe that foreign country will make the Philippines a better country, because Malaysia is a very good country. I've seen it myself, and I completely understand why Sabah, a former part of the Philippines, chose to be part of Malaysia rather than the Philippines, not just because Filipinos are the most abusive con artists, literally the most corrupt, the most gossipers, Maritiso, etc. 100%, I tell you all the truth. If I had the free will, not just would I avoid beside Filipinos like the plague they are, I would also avoid Filipinos, the Filipino community abroad, and the Philippines as a country like the plague they are, since not just are they the most abusive, most corrupt, most unthankful, most ungrateful, most unappreciative race of people, etc. They also they are also the most revengeful. Why else, out of all my extensive research into all the entirety, pretty much of all countries, why is there a saying that if you offend a Filipino guy's pride, you'll be his enemy for life? And I never heard that about any other race of people in any other country and any other race of people either. And yes, walking up this biggest gigantic mountain hill to go to this gymnasium to use this free public Wi-Fi, I get muscle pains, etc. So if I could, I would just quit going here. Not just for the above reasons, and yes, Filipinos hate each other more than any other race of people. That's why the Philippines does not have censorship like its neighboring countries. Don't misunderstand, Philippines still has more censorship than America, though, 100%. And yes, I know what I'm talking about because I grew up in the Philippines for a lifetime in both America, Guam, and Philippines, 100%. So anyways, I'm greatly risking myself. I'm really fucked. This is like a public place. I had like a few people around here. Now I'm like pretty much the only one, or maybe there's still someone here that heard me. I get that I fell into, you see, I get that I fell into a trap, because the people around here don't want me to go back to this gymnasium, which it is what it is. But I'm likely not gonna be back here in the gymnasium. I'm likely not gonna be able to keep uploading videos or posting stuff or sharing other posts, etc. Every day like I've been doing, because the stuff I said, I mean, it's been heard. My previous video on this, there was somebody else, so I'm likely this will likely be my last time here. I'm just keeping 100% real. So anyways, if you clicked on the video, didn't watch the video, many prosperities, many blessings to you. If you watch the video, watch the whole video, many prosperities, many blessings to you. I'm signing off.